Election 2025. Today's coast-to-coast off-year elections could have big implications for 2026 midterm races. Despite not being on the ballot, President Trump looms large over the key contests. Here are 4 races we are watching closely: the mayoral race in New York City, the gubernatorial elections in New Jersey and Virginia, plus a vote on Proposition 50 in California. All 3 candidates in New York are making their final pitches for votes. Zohran Mamdani is a self-described Democratic socialist and has been leading the polls. The president has criticized his platforms to battle economic inequality and has endorsed former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is running as an independent. Cuomo lost the Democratic primary earlier this year to Mamdani. Rounding out the race is Republican contender Curtis Sliwa. He rose to prominence as the leader of the Guardian Angels, a volunteer crime-fighting group. The only states electing governors this year may give some insight into what voters think of President Trump's job performance so far. In New Jersey, Republican nominee Jack Ciattarelli earned Trump's endorsement in his race against Democratic nominee Representative Mikey Sherrill. In a historic election, Virginia voters will decide who will be their first female governor. Republican Winsome Earl-Sears is facing off against Democrat Abigail Spanberger. And in California, voters are deciding whether to sign off on Proposition 50, which would create a new congressional map. For more, I'd like to bring in Cory Eucalitto, the Associate Director of Ballotpedia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So these are off-year elections. How important are they?
They're very important. There's the races you mentioned, but there's many elections happening across the country. So even outside of just those 3 key ones, there's a lot that can change in terms of immediate policy and who's in office. But they do tell us, give us signals about what people are feeling a year ahead of the midterms, like you said.
Now, which races are you closely tracking?
Certainly the 3 that you mentioned, the 2 gubernatorial races. Those are often seen, Virginia in particular, as a real indicator of how a president is faring early in their administration, because that always follows a presidential election. But New Jersey could be very surprising as well. Virginia's been pretty heavily affected by the government shutdown, but New Jersey could be a state where Republicans do a little bit better than expected. Donald Trump did better there in 2024 than he did in 2026. So that'll be very interesting to watch, when traditionally more attention is given to Virginia. New York City and Prop 50 are very big races, but New York City in particular is one of several mayoral elections in the country where there are Democratic incumbents or former incumbents, people like Andrew Cuomo, facing more progressive challengers. Minneapolis and Seattle are 2 other examples of that.
Now, you mentioned California's Proposition 50. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this was put on the ballot, Governor Gavin Newsom said, in response to Texas redrawing their congressional district maps, giving Republicans, if they're able to win the seats, 5 additional seats in Texas. So this would essentially carve out 5 additional Democratic seats in California. This has to go through a ballot measure because California has an independent redistricting commission. So this will essentially put in place temporary congressional district maps until after the next census, when we revert back to the independent redistricting commission. So Proposition 50 is getting a lot of attention. It's now the 4th most expensive ballot measure in state history. And California has very expensive ballot measure campaigns. The support and opposition campaigns have raised $167 million. So it's getting a lot of attention.
Okay, well, we'll certainly continue to watch. Cory Eucalitto, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.